I'm wondering if anyone has ever approached you who recognized you just from Constantine.
Oh yes, different audience. I can tell by their outfit. They don't care about music. This is not. You can just tell. This is look. They're cinephiles. They look smart and interesting, and like wouldn't be caught dead on a rock show, that kind of thing. Oh, you're a rock band. I don't care about that. But what's happening with Constantine?
If you could take me back to where you were in your career at this point, both your music career and your acting career, like what was it that made you at that point want to do a role like this?
Actors don't get the choice. I want to do this role. I want to do that. Yeah, unless you're, Tom Hardy. It's you just take what you're given, and you're lucky if you get that. It's a very very hard world. I'd done tons of auditions, and I wasn't very good at them. When I did that part, I remember the best thing about it was Akiva had done the rewrite, and I gave a speech in my audition, and he called my manager at the time and said he spoke the words as I intended.
Do you remember what the audition scene was?
It's in the nightclub. Yeah, I was in the scene when we meet in the room with Jaimin. It felt very in the mouth, all in the mouth, and it was so easy for me to think of Anthony Hopkins and Silence of the Lambs, and that sort of the way that he would speak and the way that he would be just really seductive, yet serial killer who ripped skin off of people's faces, it's like that, but just that sort of crazy charm. To have a writer say he said the words as I intend them, I just thought gave me so much confidence to stay on that and to hold on to that. I mean, I tried to copy. Keanu's got this thing of getting really ramped up before a scene, so he's the ground running. I was doing that for a bit, and then when I got a coach who's like, "That may work for Keanu, but it's exhausting." What exhausting when it work. I saw his point, so I stopped. I stopped swearing before the scene would start. Like, and you're like, I said it to my actor coach. He's like, "Oh, that sounds exhausting." I was like, "It is a bit sort of spent before the scene's begun."
I read that a magician taught you the coin trick.
He gave me a coin there for 6 months, 3, 4 months. I just did it every day.
Okay.
Specific coin. And then, of course, my first scene was in a stairwell. There's like, could you just put over the stairwell? I was like, what, defy gravity as well? Like, I mean, if I do that with like, my hand with the coin, it's going to fall down.
I really enjoy your line delivery of
I was born of this.
That's a good, I was born of this. And all I was thinking about was how much shit I'd gone through to get to be in that movie. That was my motivation of like, you know, my whole life had been a series of fires, you know, and so it was a really fun line to say. I mean, as an actor, you do really appreciate the good writing versus the bad.
So this first image that we see of Balthazar is in this beautifully tailored suit. And so I'm curious if you had any input on the costuming or just how the costuming made you feel, how you felt like it helped the character.
It just added to the air of confidence from the ages, being through many, many lifetimes. And I was also perked up and looking forward to owning one of them. I was thinking, here comes my wedding stroke funeral outfit for the next 10 years. Perfect.
I'm curious about the finger licking good moment and if the actual licking was scripted or if that was something that you sort of came up with.
I think it's something that I did because of finger licking. I just kept on thinking of chicken, and it made me salivate.
Did you feel like you were trying to be flirtatious? Like, did you want there to be sort of like an erotic, sensual element to the scene?
Yeah, because I think that he's all the best parts of the devil. So he probably has the best sex, has the best drugs, best drink, and has traveled many lifetimes having the best of all things.
Is there another moment in the movie, another scene, another line of dialogue that you're proudest of, or that you were proudest of at the time?
I like walking through the supermarket. The hardest part about being in movies but not having the biggest parts is when you're talking. It's annoying, you know? It's nice to be on film and just being on film. So that was my first experience of being on film and not having to have dialogue and letting the scene play out. That to me is a mark of having a bigger role in the film.
I feel like at the time, the film got mixed reviews, whereas I think now, and over the years, not just now, over the years, it's become very beloved. It's become a cult classic. I'm wondering what you felt like about the reaction then versus what you feel like about the new, like, love that the movie has.
When I was watching it, it felt quite specialist. It felt quite niche. It didn't feel as clear as some big franchise movies can be. You know, Constantine was like the sonic youth of rock, extremely specialist, stylized, cool as fuck band who didn't want the mainstream and kept away from the mainstream, and by virtue of that have an adoring fan base that appreciates that sonic youth belongs to them. There's lots of cinephiles who Constantine belongs to them.